So we are reading At the Dark End of the Street, Black Women, Rape and Resistance, A New History of the Civil Rights Movement from Rosa Parks to the Rise of Black Power by Danielle McGuire. And our sessions it started June 3rd and they last until July 29th. They are from 6:30 to 8. Okay, so knowing what we know now about from the prologue in chapter 1, why do you believe knowing this history now is important? And what can we do? Michelle, maybe in Black Women's Blueprint or any of our other organizations, or just in general with this history now that we know about it.
Randie, can you excuse me for a minute and you and Abe about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just repeat the question for me.
Okay. Knowing what we know now from the prologue in chapter 1, just basically by Reese Taylor and Rosa Parks and other sexual violent cases dealt with sexual violence of Black women. Why do you believe knowing this history is important, and what can we do now with this history now that we know?
I think it's important for a culture, for society to acknowledge that there is a culture of rape or misogyny against women. I think it's important to educate our young, girls or young, females and male about the history of rape, and to at least have them be aware of it. I think awareness is very important, and then acknowledging that this culture does exist and has always existed, and maybe acknowledging it and having this awareness will open up more dialogue around the topic of rape against Black women.
Well, I definitely plan on. I've texted so many people and screenshotted this book. Read this book right now. Like making sure people know that it's out here. I plan on messaging some of my professors that I still keep in contact with to ask them have they heard about this book and this history. Because I do think it's important to talk about. My daughters and sons will definitely know about this history, and it's made me just want to be a little bit more proactive. And I guess double checking the history that this country obviously allows us to know, and seeing if there's anything else I'm missing. Because I obviously can't count on school to make sure that I know this, you know. So it's just made me, if anything, it's made me more militant.
Oh, good. Okay, you ready for the next question?
Yeah, did you want to answer it?
What was it?
Knowing what we know now from the prologue in chapter 1, why do you believe knowing this history is important, and what can we do with it?
Oh. I think that knowing the history, I think even from the prologue in chapter 1, we are given an image of Black women as strong.
Mm-hmm.
I hear my Miss Sealy voice. We are strong. But you really get the image of Black women as strong and powerful and capable. As much as we were being raped
Mm-hmm.
and abused, we were also standing up for each other in powerful ways. As I said earlier, I think I said earlier, it must have felt so good to Reese Taylor and her family to know that there was this whole national campaign there to support them. I think you mentioned, Randie, that ultimately they left Abbeville.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it with support from the community, from the national campaign. So I think that white supremacy through and through is about making us feel powerless.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the point about how the white men picked Reese Taylor up, out on the dark road, accompanied by other people, which to me is a message to all of them, that you are powerless. You can't do anything about this. The sheriff doesn't arrest anybody initially. Another message of you are powerless.
Yeah, it kind of like reinforces
Yeah.
white supremacy ideology that the locus of the problem reside in the victim.
Right.
It's external.
Right.
It's external. It's not internal. It's not the victim's problem. It's a broader. It's their.
Yeah.
It's on them.
Yeah.
It's on
Yeah.
the person who's doing, the violating.
Yes.
The person who's violating you.
Yeah.
So we want to have this at least have people or have these discussions so people can be aware that the problem it doesn't reside in them. It's external.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, I think that the reason that you don't know this history, that I don't know this history, that we don't know this history is because knowing this history gives us a sense of we can do some things.
Right.
Not totally powerless. We're pretty amazing when you think about it. And so that's why I think that it's important that we know this history, because we need all the reinforcements we can get that we do have the capacity for some agency in our own lives and our own community. We need to reinforce and counter all of the messages to the contrary that tell us we can't.
Right.
So that's why this stuff is not included in our school curriculums. What can we do with the history now that we know it? We can share it. We can spread the news. I mean, you made the point, Randy, that I guess it was almost odd to see black men as a part of the advocacy movement defending black women. And so our generation, not to say that you and I are in the same generation, Randy, but really, even from my generation, we're not used to seeing black men be our supporters. It happens. I say all the time that I had a really wonderful father, and I was blessed in that way. But for the most part, the other black men that have come through my life, I could pretty much live without most of them. And so from my generation, what we can see are the values and practices that we have lost as a community. So when we know our history, what can we do with it? I think we can share it. I think we can remind each other of what we're capable of doing and try to figure out, how to get back on a road where we can affirm each other. I also wanted, as a book group, I wanted us to read this book because so much of the work that Black Women's Blueprint does is about sexual violence and ending rape culture, and and I think we're remiss in doing that work if we don't have sort of the solid foundation that McGuire gives us in this text. So one thing we can do is arm advocates.
Right.